to see what was happening around then. So we're going to start off with...
So we're going to talk today about two brothers, Bhai Satta and Bhai Balwant. Some of you may have heard of them already. Now they served the Gurus from Guru Angad Dev Ji till Guru Arjan Dev Ji. So they were around for quite a while serving the Gurus. And they were known as Rababis because they used to play the Rabab. And because they were so musically inclined, it meant that they really understood Rag and Kirtan. So it was brilliant when they were doing Kirtan in the Guru's Darbar, which really brought Sangat in. And because they had such a good knowledge of Rag, they were able to really capture the true essence of Gurbani. So we're going to talk a bit about an important time within their life and how they've impacted Sikhi and Gurbani as well.
So Bhai Satta, Bhai Balwant that Jaspreet has just been telling us about were Kirtani, as we all know. And in today's day and age, we have a lot of Kirtani. But at that time, Bhai Satta and Bhai Balwant were a very loved and cherished Kirtani. So in Guru's Darbar, a lot of the time, majority of Kirtan was done by them. Now, with their knowledge that they had, that they turned around and the emotion that they brought into the Divans, they felt that the Kirtan, the Sangat is coming to the congregation, to the Darbar, because of the style of their Kirtan or because their voices are so amazing. And a little bit of hankar came, a little bit of greed, where they turned around and said, actually, we are the best. We are the ones that everyone comes to listen to, and everyone else doesn't really matter. Sare sanu sunan aunde a, sanu pujan aunde a, and we could really do anything. So they became very self-centered, very sort of self-hungry about them, becoming very greedy. They started demanding certain sort of prestige. Now, if we look at this in modern day an analogy, we got to think that there's a lot of Kirtani out there, but what takes us to the Kirtan is the Guru's word. And this is something Bhai Satta and Balwant did not actually understand and did not turn around and think, because they felt that they were the only ones that actually could cherish bringing the Sangats together.
So one day, Baba Buddha Ji actually asked them to do Kirtan for him. He wanted to listen to their Kirtan. However, they actually refused to do Kirtan, which was quite strange. And one day, the Guruji actually found out that they had refused to do Kirtan for Baba Buddha Ji. That evening, when they were meant to do Kirtan in Guru's Darbar, Guruji actually turned away from them and he ignored them. And this they found really, really strange, and they couldn't understand what they'd done or why it had happened. So they pleaded with Guruji and asked him, what have we done? Why are you not talking to us? Why are you turning away from us? And Guruji said to them, the same way you didn't want to do Kirtan for a Sikh is the same way as saying you don't want to do Kirtan for your Guru. Because within each and every Sikh belongs the Guru. Within the Sikh is a part of their Guru.
So Guruji was trying to turn around and say to them that, yes, you come into the Kirtan Divan and everything is, you're turning around and allowing people to listen to your Kirtan. But if a Sikh turns around and honestly from the bottom of their heart says, we would like to hear Gurbani from you, and you turn around and say, no, it turns around and it shows you that how do you know what that person is going through and the thrive that they need for Gurbani? At times, what we see is, just like now, we're in Sukh, we're in Dukh, all the time. We see all this Dukh going on all over the world, and we hear about all these amazing stories about people coming away from COVID as well. And it's a time where we turn around, and it's really sad because some of us are very lucky that we got Guru Sahib's Prakash at home, but some of us are not. And just to turn around and say that when we would like to hear Gurbani, now we turn around and if we want that peace, we will listen to Sukhmani Sahib on our phone, or we'll turn around and we'll play some kirtan, which might be on YouTube, or join Sakhi time.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case in Guru Arjan Dev Ji's time, because they were like, by Buddha Ji, even though Bhai Buddha Ji is Bhai Buddha Ji, and we all know is one of the greatest figures in Sikh Itihas, Bhai Buddha Ji, I think, was testing them. Because someone like Bhai Buddha Ji would have known कि इन्ना दी नीच की है. What is their need inside? Mm-hmm. So it was really interesting that they said no to someone like Bhai Buddha Ji. And Baba Buddha Ji was so hurt by this that he didn't need to tell Guru Sahib. Guru Sahib's Jani Jan, and Guru Sahib knows everything. It shouldn't make a difference if someone of Baba Buddha Ji's avastha, or a young child, if someone asks to hear Gurbani, or asks to hear your understanding on something, we should turn around, and it's our duty as Gursikhs to turn around and support them and to help them.
That's right. So they felt really saddened that they had to ask for forgiveness from Guruji, that they had behaved in such a manner. However, deep down, they weren't truly sorry. They weren't really
They still had that hankar, didn't they?
They had a bit of a hankar still. But Maharaj still knew. Maharaj knows everything that's going on in your mind, in your heart. You can't get away from that. That's something Maharaj knows.
So what then happened was, by Satta's daughter, so Itihas says daughter, but it's more likely, some of Itihas also says granddaughter, just because of the age. If you think about the lifespan, it's more likely to be their granddaughter was getting married. And this is a happy occasion for many people, for everyone. You might have had weddings in your family, and at this time there's lots of weddings which are being postponed, some are still taking place, and there's a big lead up to this. But what Bhai Satta wanted was, he wanted the most lavish wedding for his family. So
the best of the best.
The best of the best, just like any father would or grandfather would for their child. But yet there was an issue with the finances. Like we all think, every day if my daughter turned around and says, I want you to spend £100,000 on an Nandakara, you'd have to think, do I have that in my pocket or not? So because they had this hankar, they thought, actually, we are the Kirtani. They went to Guru Sahib and they said to Guru Sahib that basically tomorrow's Diwan that takes place, we need this money, and can we take all the pitta from this money for our own use? Guru Sahib's Jani Jan the. Guru Sahib said, Chalo, tusi thonu loda, theeka. Kal da Diwan ch, everything, all the pitta will go to you. And they didn't, you can use it how, whatever.
But Maharaj did insist and say to them that they should have faith in Maharaj, because whatever happens will happen for the best. And just having that bharosa, that faith, can make such a big difference. But they still didn't. They didn't have that belief. They
didn't have that belief. So the Diwan took place. Now, the Diwan was a little bit different from what Itihas tells us. The Diwan normally, where Satta Balwanda would be engrossed in Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Shabad and the Shabad of Akal Purkh, their mind was somewhere else. Of course their mind was somewhere else. They knew that they were going to get this earnings. They were going to get all this pitta. So they turned round, and there was a lot of people at this Diwan. But what happened was, there wasn't much pitta. In fact, it was very little. And at the end of the Diwan, Guru Sahib gave them the pitta, and Satta and Bhai Balwand were very angry. They said to Guru Sahib that you have cheated us. And what have you done here? we know it's in your control. You must have told the Sangat not to give peta.
They said some really, really harsh
And
things.
they said some very horrible things, in fact.
They started saying things like, we are the ones that have made you famous. Not the other way round. If it wasn't for us, Sikhs wouldn't give so many offerings. They wouldn't come to these darbars and offer you so much. So why don't you give us what we are owed? Surely that's owed to us. And if we ever stopped doing kirtan, who would come to your darbars? No one would recognize you as a guru. It's because of us, which is quite shocking.
Again, a lot of greed here, where they turned around and they thought that they were the people that people went to go and see, that they are making that divan. In theory, I tell you what this whole thing reminds me of is when you look at Asa Ki Vaar and you look at when it's talking about the matka, and it talks about Kumbhe Badda Jal Rahe, Jal Bin Kumbh Na Hoye, where the Kumbh thought that they're carrying the water, so there's all this ego, just like by Satta and Balwan, where like we make this divan. But what they didn't realize is, just like the Kumbh didn't realize that without the Jal it's carrying inside them, they're nothing, they're just mitti. So without the Guru, we are nobody. And this is something that they didn't realize.
No. So the next morning, during Darbar, they were meant to turn up to do Kirtan, but what happened? They didn't bother to turn up.
They didn't turn up. So then what Guruji did was Guruji sent for them. Now, what you have to also remember here is these Kirtani, these two brothers, were Kirtani from Guru Angad Dev Ji's time. So they had a very strong lineage, and obviously the greed had now come in. So they must have changed somewhere, or Guru Amar Das Ji, Guru Ram Das Ji would have sent them packing. So something must have happened in their Jivan, something must have happened there where this changed. But Guru Sahib knew that these brothers are loyal. They might not show it at the moment. And just like at this time, sometimes when it comes to the time, we can be very self-centered, very selfish. That pyar is still there, but we don't know how to show it.
Anyone can waver on that path. It's quite easily. That's why we have all these distractions around us all the time.
So that's also the need on why we keep on needing to go to Sangat, and why we keep on if we think about why do we do Japji Sahib, Jap Sahib, Savaiye, Chopei Sahib, Anand Sahib every morning? Because if our mind could turn around and understand the first time, then Guru Sahib would have said, "Ek wari pad lo, ta fir baki koi na." But our man is so confused. So Guru Sahib says, "Man tu jot swaroop hai, apna mool pashan." So we have to turn around and actually put, give this some kind of guidance.
It's a reminder every day, isn't it?
Every day. Just like if we become lazy, we will carry on becoming lazy. Okay, I've gone off topic, but if we go back to what happened, Guru Angad Dev Ji sent a Gursikh to them to say, "Tusi aao, wapas diwan ch aao," and they refused. After that, Guru Angad Dev Ji then sent, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Vaheguru then sent a special message, and they refused. Each time they would come back and they would start insulting Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and lots of stuff would happen. Guru Sahib even went to them themselves. And at that time, Guru Sahib was very disheartened. Because at that time was said that Guru Nanak Dev Ji was only Guru Nanak Dev Ji because of what Bhai Mardana Ji had to offer. Informs that it's the music, it's Bhai Mardana Ji's companionship that actually made Guru Nanak Dev Ji who he is.
They showed a lot of disrespect, and because they showed disrespect to Guru Nanak Dev Ji is what made Guru Arjan Dev Ji angry. He couldn't take that disrespect. It was just not acceptable. And at that point in time, he ordered all his Sikhs, he made sure that no one would ever talk to Bhai Satta or Bhai Balwand. They weren't allowed to talk to them, they weren't allowed to do kirtan near them or listen to their kirtan or ask them to do kirtan. They just weren't allowed to go near them. And if they did, they would be punished for it. So that was made very clear. But Guru Arjan Dev Ji himself was a master musician. He used to play the saranda, and equally he used to do amazing kirtan, which the Sangat loved to hear. So since Bhai Satta and Bhai Balwand were doing kirtan anymore in the bars, Guruji brought other Gursikhs in to do kirtan instead. So during this time, the Sangat was still listening to kirtan, and they realized that the divans were actually growing. The bars, the Sangat that was coming in was growing more and more. And when Bhai Satta and when Bhai Balwand actually heard about this, they were actually really upset. They couldn't believe how much Sangat was growing through their kirtan. And they actually felt a bit ashamed because they suddenly realized that it wasn't the Guru that was making, well, it wasn't them that was making the Guru famous, it was the Guru that was actually making them famous. And I think that was the realization.
And that's where it kind of hit the nail on the head, where it turned round and Bhai Satta and Bhai Balwand turned round and said, actually, ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਗਲਤੀ ਕਰ ਲਈ.
But by then it was too late.
Yeah, because they had no money.
No money. They weren't doing kirtan, so nothing was coming in. They were ill, they had leprosy, they were in pain. It was quite a bad time for them. They had no food, nothing.
They were really dukhi.
Yeah,
really dukhi they were.
Really hard time.
So then it hit them where it said ke we now understand ke Guru Sahib kiya, and what part of Guru Sahib is inside us, what part of Akal Purakh is driving us, and asi ki kar liya. And they turned round and they searched that how can we turn round and beg for some kind of forgiveness, asi ki kariye. Now the problem was, Guru Sahib had said that anyone who associates themselves with Bhai Satta and Bhai Balwand, face will be blackened, they were mounted on a donkey, they would have a shoe necklace, a garland of shoes, purani juttiyan around him, and driven through the bazaars. And that was the biggest form of shame. It was almost, it was the naming and shaming of the time.
It was what they did with criminals, isn't it?
It is. It's what they did with really people who were, chor, who were daku, any kind of issues that there were in Punjab at that time. That would be the first punishment. Mm-hmm. And it was a very shameful punishment. So nobody wanted to turn around and help Bhai Satta and Bhai Balwand. So they decided, they heard about this one Gursikh who was in Lahore called Bhai Ladda. And they're like, Bhai Ladda, we've heard so much about them. Let's go to Bhai Ladda. So they went to Bhai Ladda and asked Bhai Ladda.
But Bhai Ladda said, you've made such a big mistake by dishonouring the house of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. How can I help you? Guruji has given such strict orders that we cannot help you. How is it possible for me to even do that? But I think deep down he realized how sorry they really were, and they were really merciful and desperate at that point, that they needed someone to help them. And seeing that, Bhai Ladda said that he would help them. He knew what the consequences were. He knew that he would have to have his face blackened and sat on a donkey and ridden through the markets. But he was willing to do that for them, which surely meant something.
I think in this form, sometimes when you hit the low, and there's lots of people just in our lifetime that we've seen who have hit the low, and it happens where Sangat abandons them. Now in this instant, Guru Sahib abandoned them. But there was one person who felt that they they're actually...
They could help.
They could help. And these guys, their soul is still sacha. So Bhai Ladda decided to help them.
That's right. So he blackened his face. He wore his shoe necklace.
So rather than Guru Sahib do it to him, he said, "Main ape kar lena pehla."
He knew what was coming. So, and then he rode on a donkey from Lahore all the way to Amritsar to go see his guru. And on the way, people thought he was a thief, he was a criminal.
People were very shocked because Bhai Ladda was a very well-respected Gursikh.
Yeah, and people abused him. People threw stuff at him. You know, it's quite a shameful thing to have happened. But he eventually made it to Amritsar and he saw his guru and he went to his home.
So, as soon as he's on the horse, on the donkey, Guru Sahib's Jani Jan. Guru Sahib didn't need to recognize him. Guru Sahib waited for him to come. As soon as he came near, Guru Sahib made him come down from the donkey, dismounted from the donkey. When he dismounted, then Guru Sahib cleaned his face, removed the shoe necklace, and gave him a big hug. There was a lot of conversation then, because Bhai Ladda had come to Lahore, want to see Guru Sahib, to Amritsar, but more importantly, to be on Bhai Satta and Bhai Balwand's case. So he said to Guru Sahib, Guru Sahib, inna nu maaf kar do. Guru Sahib said, how? Asi kidda maaf kariye inna nu? They've spoken ill of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They've spoken ill of Sangat. He said, but inside their life, inside another Jeevan Satchaya, they turn round and yes, they have spoken ill, but they're really, really, really sorry now. They're dying. They've got leprosy on them. So then what happened was the decision was made that let them, with the same mouth that they have slandered Guru Sahib, make them write something about Guru Sahib. Make them write something positive.
And that's what they did. So they wrote 8 vara about the magnificence of Guru Sahib from Guru Nanak Dev Ji up until Guru Arjan Dev Ji. And when Guruji read this, he was really moved by what he had read. It was truly amazing to see their love and devotion for their gurus and Sikhi. So what Guruji decided to do was include these vara within Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And you can actually read these vara on Ang 966 to 968. And some of you may know that this is actually called Ramkali Ki Vaar, or some people may know it as Satat Balwand Divar. And as they kept reciting this many times over and over, their illnesses were cured. Their diseases were taken away, their pain was gone, and it really, really helped them to get better, and the Guru forgave them eventually. And Guruji has even said, if you recite these vara with love and pure devotion, all your diseases and pain and anguish can also disappear. But it needs that love and devotion to be able to do that.
I know we're running out of time, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here. But I just want to tell you a little bit about Ramkali Ki Vaar. This is one of the Vars which, if you look at just the average Sikhs, generally it's not a famous Var like Asa Ki Vaar, or, you know, we look at Sukhmani Sahib, you know, obviously we have our Satabaniya that we all do today. But the power of this Var is amazing. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about, first of all, it talks to you about the greatness of Guruship. In the first Var, there's a line that goes, Nanak Raj Chalaya. So it talks to you how Guru Nanak Dev Ji ne apna Raj, how you conquer over yourself, how you turn around and build that Raja. it's also turning around, and even till today, this Vaar is, all Gurbani is timeless. But especially in today's world, the power that it has of forgiveness. It shows us that if we sache dil na want to be forgiven, and we have that pyar within ourselves, we will be. It's just about finding that right avenue.
It doesn't matter how much wrong you have done, how much you've turned away from your guru. If you are really, truly sorry, there's always a way back to your guru.
Another amazing thing about this Vaar is how in the whole of Guru Sahib, the whole of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Sahib, there's one Gursikh Bibi, Mata Kivi, who is talked about. And that is talked about in this Vaar, which I feel is a really beautiful thing that we can all learn of. And in the reference of Mata Kivi Ji, there's talked about langar. Now langar is, we all understand langar as in a thal. We have langar, we eat the langar. We understand the concept of the langar that's in a form of a food. Yeah. Where whatever it is, we all sit down on the same platform and we share. But Ramkali Ki Vaar talks about two types of langar. It talks about one langar which is about the Guru's Shabad, and the other langar which is about Mata Kivi making kheer. So it's saying that just as important as it is that we share langar, we must share the Guru's word, and we must share Guru's thought. So just like we turn around and we say that dal was lovely and that kheer was lovely, we should turn around and we should know if something is out of balance in langar, apne siddha pata lag janda. If there's too much mircha, if there's not. We should know how to read Gurbani at that kind of level. So I find that this Vaar is one of those Vaars that really gives us a lot of power. We've spoken to a lot of Gursikhs, especially Gursikhs who have spent time with Bhai Sahib Bhai Singh. And they used to tell us that when Bhai Sahib Bhai Singh was in Ludhiana, there used to be a park that they used to get together in, and the likes of Bhai Jeevan Singh, Bhai Mehr Singh, Gyani Amolak Singh, and Bhai Pritam Singh Chani Ji, and various other Gursikhs. And when they used to get together, what Bhai Sahib used to do is he used to tell every Gursikh first to read one Ramkali Ki Vaar each before they start Sodar Rasta part.
That's how important it was.
Yeah. Bhai Jeevan Singh, when they used to go and visit someone in hospital, they used to recite Ramkali Ki Vaar da part. So this is a really important lesson to us to understand this Bani as much as we possibly can. And it only takes 6 or 7 minutes to read. If you want to hear it in Kirtan, Khalsa Foundation has got a recording up, which we will put into the link somewhere, of Gyani Gurdev Singh from Australia doing the whole Vaar in Kirtan. So we've now hit our time, so I think we should first of all ask for forgiveness if we have offended anyone. Remember, this is our understanding of this Sakhi. So some people might have a few different ideologies of this or a different variation of this. This is only our way of expressing it. Mm-hmm. So if we have offended you in any way, please forgive us. And maybe another time we could actually go through the Vaar in a bit more detail, not on a Sakhi time because it's quite in a lot of depth, so it will take us a bit more time. But the main thing is, everyone, please stay safe.
Look after yourselves.
Look after your elders. Make sure everyone is looked after. They're not being too over cautious and meeting people too much outside and stuff. I know everyone's getting very anxious, but this is the time that we can sit at home and we can learn about Guru Sahib.
And focus on ourselves and our Sikhi as well to help our Jivan grow even further.
Thank you so much. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.